watching closely.
What's the secret, Max?
You just gotta find something you love to do and then do it for the rest of your life.
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
Hello, and welcome to The Establishing Shot, a podcast where we do deep dives into directors and their filmographies. I am your host, Eli Price, and we are here on episode 106 of the podcast. We enjoyed a great conversation about Bridge of Spies last week. If you didn't catch that, make sure to go check that out. But I have my guest from last week returning. Elijah Davidson is coming back for a Cold War movie draft. How are you feeling? Are you feeling cold about it? Are you feeling?
Would it help?
That's good pull. Good pull from last week. Yeah.
I decided to come here as a completely different person for this episode. I'm going to be my spy version of myself. So I'm going to give you stillness and quiet, and it's up to you to not follow me down. I'm just joking. That'd be horrible podcasting, wouldn't it? If someone was just like very quiet on a podcast the entire time. That'd be the worst.
You'd be surprised. It's sometimes you have to really carry the weight of the conversation. But it's all good. That's what I signed up for when I decided to make a podcast. So is to talk into the void. That's right. And maybe someone will listen.
But hopefully not at the void. The person you're talking to should not be a void.
Right.
That would be a bad experience. So
yes, exactly.
I'm still me. If you don't know who I am, I'm gonna and this is your first episode. I'm gonna say just wherever you got this episode, go to that place.
Yeah.
And get the one before, and listen to me on that one.
Exactly.
I'm not going to tell you anything else about myself on this one.
Yeah, it's on the last one. Go listen to the last one.
You have to be a completionist to understand who I am.
Yeah, so I love it. That makes my job easier. We can just go straight into the content now.
Yeah, for real.
If you've never listened to a movie draft episode before, we're just picking movies from a category. So it just happens to be Cold War movies to go along with Bridge of Spies, which sometimes I exclude the movie that we talked about from as an option. I'm afraid of not having enough. I don't know. I'm sure I'll have enough. We'll set it aside for now. Let's go ahead and say Bridge of Spies. It's the Bridge of Spies
memorial draft.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna pick it anyway, so that's fine.
Okay, that's good.
I got tons of movies on here. That wasn't gonna be one of them.
Okay, good.
Mid-tier Spielberg's not making my draft.
I haven't seen enough that I've found. There's probably movies that I've seen that I could say are Cold War movies that I just didn't think of. So my list is my list. We'll see how it turns out. Before we jump into the draft, I thought I would ask this question. What, other than like obviously being set in the Cold War and Cold War things, what defines a Cold War movie for you?
Well, I started preparing for this by making a list of all the kinds of Cold War movies that I could think of.
That's fun, yeah.
And so I have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 different categories of like Cold War kinds of movies.
Yeah.
I also set up a couple of rules for myself when it came to the movie. So there are Cold War movies that are not about the United States and Russia, but I felt like there needed true Cold War movies because being the American that I am, are about the United States and Russia on some level.
Okay.
And so British ones don't really count. So James Bond, for the most part, does not count for me as Cold War movies, even though it's probably like the quintessential Cold War like franchise.
Yeah.
But there's nothing cold about what's going on in James Bond movies either, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's that. But but I back. You want my categories?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
I can think of a few off the top of my head, but I didn't think
okay.
about it in that way. So,
So here's what I got. So the big one, and pretty much like all movies after the atomic bomb was dropped are about this, is nuclear anxiety. Nuclear
right.
war anxiety is huge. Like that's a kind of Cold War movie. There's movies where that's the center of
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. McCarthyism,
Yeah.
and like the witch hunt thing. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge part of the Cold War. That's not always Russia exactly, but it's like communism scare. So it's like Russia by thing, but it's like all about Americans hating each other or being afraid of each other because of this climate they were living under. Um, there are Cold War movies that are just giant metaphors for the Cold War, but aren't explicitly like about the Cold War.
Right.
So I kind of put those under the category of metaphor, big giant metaphor movies.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any right now because
Right.
I'm
Might
giving
draft
you
them.
picks here. There are spy movies, like
Yeah.
there are spy like and the whole like espionage genre of movie like is a huge part that all came out of the Cold War. And then there's military Cold War movies that aren't spy movies. So about military operations during the Cold War.
Right.
Big part of what they are. Then, and this is a fun category, there are Cold War movies for kids. There are lots of Cold
Yeah.
War movies for kids.
Yeah.
Because it was important to make kids afraid of being killed by communists.
Sure.
I guess.
Of course.
You wanted to be prepared, So that's a big one. There's a Cold War overlapped with sci-fi as a genre, and like
Yep.
sci-fi genre coming into the fore in like the world, because it really didn't exist much prior to the Cold War.
Right.
So there are all kinds of sci-fi, very explicitly science fiction Cold War movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my things. And then of course you got your comedies. There are Cold War comedies. Don't
Yeah.
forget about the Cold War comedies. They're fun because you got to laugh about this insanity that we were all dealing with. And then nonfiction. There are nonfiction Cold War films.
Right.
A lot of really great films that are nonfiction films that are Cold War centered films. So I worked with all those categories in making up my list of possibilities for this draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah.
What defines it for you?
So I guess to me, like the Cold War movies, like as I've like caught up with a few and thought about like ones I've seen, they have these kind of like, there's this through line of, it's almost like a feeling or an atmosphere, that run, and a lot of it has to do with like different ways that like fear manifests, I think. There's like, whether it's like dread or sometimes it's more like political manifestations like xenophobia or like, military action in those sorts of movies. Sometimes the fear manifests in just kind of like, you mentioned sci-fi movies. So sometimes like in those sorts of Cold War movies, the fear manifests in just this like dread of the unknown, like not knowing what's going to like what could happen. There's fear in the more exciting way sometimes with like conspiracy and espionage, but that's still kind of like rooted in this like anxious fear of not knowing like what's the cause of something or what's going to happen. And I think that's like one of the big things to me that like I was noticing seems to run through all of these movies is just that fear and the different ways it manifests. And I think you naming all those categories, you could probably go through and like there's like probably one or two major ways that fear manifests in each of those categories.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was thinking of.
Cool.
Did you make a challenge for yourself to like try to draft ones from different categories?
I wanted to try to hit as many categories as I could.
Okay. We're going to do 5 each, so you'll be able to hit at least 5.
Yeah. So I'm going to add one thing to this, like what makes a Cold War movie thing. So
okay.
In my come and see project when I was going through film history, after World War II, there's a lot of different kinds of movies that are made, but for a while, like there's kind of like 2 movies that are made. One movie is all these soldiers, all these men for the most part, I mean, almost all men, were off at war, and they've learned to kill people really good, and now they have to come home and be peaceful.
Mhm.
How do we do that?
Yeah.
Like that's like most movies,
Yeah.
like after World War II, and that's the Western, that's film noir, like it's melodrama, it's everything, it's all over the place. The other giant thing that happens, and like every movie's about this, is the fear of the atomic bomb, and like what that means for the fact that we can destroy the world. That's it. Those are the two movies, and both of those things are kind of Cold War things, but the atomic bomb thing is like majorly a Cold War thing.
Yeah. Very.
And so that's the big fear, right? That's the fear of the Cold War, is that
Yep.
something's going to snap and we're all going to blow up.
Yeah. Yeah. And along with that too, the Tom Hanks talked about growing up in that era. He said they were taught to fear the possibility, or he was basically saying like they hated the Soviets because they were basically taught there are these people on the opposite side of the world from us that stand for all the opposite things that we stand for, that want to force their way of life upon us. And so that was his kind of like looking back, how he kind of remembered what he was taught during that time, which I thought was interesting. So it's like the fear of the atomic bomb, of destroying the world, but also like this fear that there's this like
being eradicated.
Yeah, there's this
being
like anti-version of all of your virtues that is going to come and like change completely the essence of who you and your country is, you know. Yeah. Wow. And I think that's I'm not gonna we'll get into the movies as we go, and
let's do it.
But yeah, so we've done one draft before together. You got the first pick on that one, so I will take the first pick on this one.
Okay.
And this is very tough. I almost want to give you the first pick just to make this.
I'll take it if you do.
But
I'm not going to complain.
But I'm gonna. Yeah, I know. But it should be hard on myself. I'm gonna go with one that is very, very much revered, that I actually caught up with leading up to this. I had never checked it out from the good old library, because it wasn't. Well, I take that back. It was on Tubi, but I was like, well, I can watch it without ads from the library. But I caught up with The Third Man from 1949.
Oh, what a great movie.
Carol Reed. 1949. So it's like, it's the start of it all, you know?
It is, yeah.
But somehow, like, even though it's at the very beginning, it's all there. All of that fear, that I mean, you're in post-war Vienna, so you kind of have like this occupation of all these people who don't know who they can trust, all there in the same city, and then just like there's this mystery, there's this kind of like, there's the spy element in that movie. Even though like he's just a writer, he's not really a spy, but he's doing spy stuff, you know.
Doing spy stuff, looking for his friend.
Yeah,
looking for Harry.
And then there's the friend who, not to give too, you know, try to be less spoilery with these movie drafts, but there's, you know, the friend who has gone to another part of the world and left all the virtues that you thought they stood for behind. It's all there. There's, along with a little bit of romance and or lack thereof, really. I won't comment too much on that. There's a very like huge ending that I was like, man, that was great.
Oh man.
But yeah,
Graham Greene. That's a Graham Greene Graham Greene story, and
Yeah.
that yeah, that's one of the best. You know, you'll often hear people call that an Orson Welles movie, um, because
He's
he is in it,
I was
but he just
surprised. I was
yeah, but
like,
he does not
oh,
direct it. People talk about like as if
oh
he
yeah,
directed it, but it's Carol Reed. Give Carol Reed his due. That's one of those perfect movies that I can just
yeah,
like watch like anytime and kind of get like sucked into.
yeah,
Um, it's just that zither. Oh my God, the
yeah.
score is just like this zither
It is.
that it's like carnivalesque, but like vaguely threatening at the same
Yeah,
time.
it creates this weird atmosphere because
Yeah,
it's a lot of the movie is very thrilling, but also like this yeah, the zither is kind of like almost feels out of place,
yeah,
but also this man is like out of place in this
he's out of
city.
place. Yeah, and it feels like vaguely Eastern European somehow,
Hmm.
and like pitching different place. It's just amazing. Like that whole movie's just perfect.
Yeah.
So
So
great,
that was one that I was like, I would
a
love
good
to
one to
have this
catch
on
up
my
on.
list, and I wasn't sure if it was on yours,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Well, great. I'm glad you picked that one. I can pick what I wanted to pick first.
great.
I can't pick that movie because, of course, my one of my rules is we have to be dealing with.
Oh
It
yeah,
can't be. It's a British film, and so a lot of Americans in it. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
but
I might
yeah,
be taking multiple that you're not even allowing yourself to take. So
yeah. Mine had to be America and Russia, as on some level. So, well, I'm happy to pick my first choice, which not only do I think it's the greatest Cold War film, perhaps I think it's this filmmaker's greatest film. I don't think it's the greatest film ever made, but it's pretty high up there, though. I mean,
okay,
it's pushing up the top 10. Some days you'd ask me, that probably is a top 10er. Uh, I actually have a list of all those movies, and I always say that any movie in the top 25 of my ranked list of the greatest films of all time,
mm-hmm.
give me a different day, and that's the best movie ever made.
Yeah, sure.
Like any of those top 25, and this is one of those. So, um, my number one choice here is going to be Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to
Yeah,
Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, because it gets all these things for me. I mean, it gets that nuclear anxiety thing.
mm-hmm.
It's a comedy. You get the weird paranoia stuff going on
Yeah,
throughout it. Um, it's you got some spies. You got, I mean, Peter Sellers and Peter Sellers and Peter Sellers
yeah,
again. I mean, you can't go wrong there. Um, it's black and white. Someone feels right about black and white for a Cold War
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
Um, yeah, just I mean, like I said, might be the greatest movie ever made too.
yeah,
So can't go wrong
yeah.
there.
I this was the other one I was looking at. So
Yeah, for your top choice.
yeah,
Yeah, good. I'm glad I got it.
yeah. So
I love it.
it's
I love
almost
it
like
so
you
much.
did get the first pick anyway. Uh,
I got
man,
my first pick.
I was looking
Yeah.
at this one, and so if I had been thinking about like your stipulation you put on yourself, I might have went with this one, but I wasn't. But yeah, that's probably the right first choice. Man, Doctor Strangelove is
It's also just
it's
a movie I will watch at any time.
yeah,
Like and the thing that it gets so good that I don't think any other Cold War movie quite gets is how absurd it all is.
yeah,
Right?
hmm
Like the sheer absurdity of living under that kind of anxiety, that kind of belief that there is this anti-US out there that's going to like wipe you out, the absurdity of it all, the one's complete inability to reconcile all of the absurdity of that.
yeah.
That's Doctor Strangelove. That's the
Yeah.
correct way you should feel about all those things.
This is madness.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's one I've only seen once. So I need to revisit it. Because when I saw it the first time, I knew it was a comedy, but it did take me like a little bit into the movie to get on the wavelength.
Yeah.
Which is weird because like typically that sort of humor is like right up my alley. But I don't know what it was. Just it took me a while to like get on the wavelength. I think it's because it is like also like a brutally like violent like war film in sections that like
Uh-huh.
I was like it kept like pulling my mind in that direction.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm sure that's it. Not just
It
sure, I'm
rem-
positive that's all on purpose.
yeah, it reminds you that Kubrick began his career as a photographer, a journalist,
Yeah.
because it has some of those kind of aspects going on too,
Yeah.
in the middle of the farce, which is what it all was. Like it was very real and people shooting each other, and it was also ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, yeah.
All right. So for my second one, I think this is just like, so this pick is going to be two things. This pick is going to be to counterbalance you having Doctor Strangelove and getting some extra votes coming my way. But also like recently revisited this movie for the podcast. And it's kind of like half a World War II movie and half a Cold War movie. And yes, I did recently cover it on the podcast finally to round out the Christopher Nolan movies. I'm going to go with Oppenheimer.
There you go.
It really rose in my estimation on the rewatch for the show, and then, all the research into it. It's obviously like you have a good portion about the development of the bomb, which is not during the Cold War era, but
right. But it creates it.
the movie isn't really about that. There's
right.
That's one of the things we talked about in that episode is there's a whole like hour of movie after that, and that hour after it is what the movie is really about.
Right.
And what the movie's wrestling with in that last hour is what the Cold War was all about. And so like, yeah, so I think this is very much like a Cold War movie in the sense that like the real point of the movie, even though like 2/3 of it is, I don't know, I guess like you couldn't even say 2/3 of it is not Cold War because you have a lot of jumping back and forth.
Yeah, all this stuff with Robert Downey Jr. throughout the whole movie. Not just the end.
But yeah, just like wrestling with the fact that what you've unlocked, what is this thing that I've unleashed? And it's not even dealing with, should I have done this? You're past that point. It's dealing with like, what do we do now that this is the cat's out of the bag? And I think that's like, it's a very important thing to wrestle with, and think about. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. So it's one that I think deserves to be picked early, but also the plus is that it maybe will counterbalance a little bit of the Strangelove pick. Because I don't know how many people have seen The Third Man.
Yeah. Hopefully more.
Hopefully more people will.
Movie. Yeah.
Hi. Quick reminder that you, yes, you, can be a huge help to the production of this show. If you visit establishingshotpod.com/donate, you'll find out how to join the Establishing Shot family through some giving tiers starting as low as $5 a month. You heard that right, only $5 a month. And not only will you be helping me keep the show going, but you'll also get some perks yourself, like early and ad-free episodes, bonus episodes, access to a Discord server where we can chat it up about the show and movies in general, and more. Might even let you choose a movie for me to review for the show. Check out that link in the show notes to learn more. Back to the show.
All right, you're up. Your second pick.
Okay.
Was Oppenheimer on your list?
It was on my my honorable mention list.
Okay.
I mean, I have it down there in case like you picked everything else that I wanted to pick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, great movie. Good movie. I think I put it down there and didn't put it higher up because so much of it does deal with the development of the bomb.
Yeah, it's fair.
Which seemed very pre Cold War to me.
Yeah. But like I said, my list is shallower than yours.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, for my next pick. So I actually have a little tree, and like if you pick one, I go over here and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But I'm kind of wanting to diverge. This is the problem with the draft. I want to diverge already. I shouldn't. I should stick with what I want to do here. Yes. Okay. For my second pick, I'm gonna take Rocky 4.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Rocky 4.
Rocky
is my
4.
second pick. Yep. And here's why. It's explicitly a Cold War movie.
Oh yeah.
And you got Rocky winning the Cold War by boxing.
Yes.
And making a great speech that wins them all over with love. But it's ridiculous because, of course, that's not how anything ends. It's about as 80s as it gets in that sense. So the Cold War was pretty much over by the time Rocky 4 is coming out. So it's kind of like taking a victory lap or tap dancing on someone's grave at this point. But it's everything people wanted to see in the 80s. It's also just a freaking great fun movie.
Yeah.
I love Rocky 4. It has some of the best training montages of any Rocky movie. And, of course, Rocky has to go to Russia to really get strong. He has to train like a Russian kind of thing. Tough back up. It also, the cinematography of that movie is just beautiful. Like, it's a gorgeous movie. No one talks about this, I don't think, how gorgeous Rocky 4 is. Rocky 3 is pretty too. But Rocky 4 is absolutely gorgeous. Like, there are shots of within the ring when they're boxing from the ring that is just, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're watching like gods fight, like it's just absolutely awesome. The way that movie is shot, and you get all this most ridiculous kind of Cold War stuff that we got. So,
Yeah.
Rocky 4, next pick.
And I mean, you get
also
Dolph
fun.
Lundgren too. I mean,
You got Dolph Lundgren. I know. I mean, come on.
yeah.
You get a robot. Don't watch the re-edit because you want to keep that robot in there because it's an 80s movie, so you got to have a robot making wisecracks.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So Rocky 4.
Yeah, for sure. That's one that like it's been so long since I've seen it. And I thought about it the other day. I was like, I need to put that on my list. I have a little private letterbox list where I like kind of compiled them all, and then I forgot to put it on here. So, but yeah, great pick. Can't go wrong with Rocky 4. All right. So, all right, you went Rocky 4. You're kind of forcing my hand of where you're making me go. I have much less of a structured plan than you, so I'm kind of like, even though I picked first, I feel like I'm following your lead at this point.
Okay,
man. Okay, we only have 5 picks though, and I do want to get. There's a couple that I do definitely want to. Okay, if I make this pick, I can still get some of the others that I want to get. Okay, so Rocky 4 is even more of a populist pick, I think, than Doctor Strangelove. So I'm gonna have to counterbalance that with Brad Bird's The Iron Giant.
Good pick.
Yeah, a Cold War coded kids movie made outside of the Cold War. This is a movie I grew up with.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, but Brad Bird grew up in the Cold War.
Right. And I was going to say that. So made by someone that did experience it. And I've always liked The Iron Giant, but then I remember liking it, but then I watched it a few years ago as an adult and was crying at the end, and I was like, this movie is so much better than I could have ever appreciated when I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's completely coated with Cold War anxieties and fears, but one of the most maybe one of the most optimistic, hopeful, tender-hearted Cold War movies you could watch. I love a movie with a good, sacrificial hero, of course. So that's definitely in there, and it gives you hope that maybe people can see things in light of what they really are instead of projecting your fears onto them. So
I
yeah.
like it. Very good. I had that on my list. It was going to be my next pick.
Oh.
So, yeah. So you swiped one there from
Yes.
me. But there was a little part of me, little part of me that almost didn't put it on my list, because I feel like the Russia part, the Soviet part, of that movie is the most subdued. Like,
Sure.
they mention them, they're like, we don't know where this came from. This come from Russia. Who knows? Like, from Soviets. Who knows?
Yeah.
It is part of it. It's a part of what the anxiety is all about. It's a little bit more subdued, but. I had it on my list because it's one of those, like, for kids movies. It's animation.
Yep.
These are all great things to get on your draft, get on your team. Iron Giant's amazing. My son loves the Iron Giant, and so he'll frequently ask to watch
I
the
haven't
Iron
done
Giant.
that one yet. I need to, though.
Yeah. It plays well. It's so visual. Kids like the things without a whole lot of talking.
Yeah, and he loves robots. So
what kid doesn't love robots? Well, boy, don't watch robots. Okay, but this is good. I don't mind that you picked it, because this now lets me take my little tree of paths, whatever.
Yeah.
To go to one that I'm really excited to pick. So, I'm up, right?
Yep, you're up.
Is that my turn? All right. So, I'm going to pick what I believe is the most important Cold War film of all.
Oh, okay.
It may not be the greatest.
It's exciting.
It may not be the greatest, but I think it is, I would say, almost inarguably the most important Cold War film at all. And it is the movie, it is the animated short, almost all, it's like not all animated, but partially animated film, Duck and Cover. The film that was shown, short film, that was shown in classrooms across the country to train kids how to respond to a nuclear bomb. So you actually see it in Bridge of Spies. You see clips from it in Bridge of Spies. They're watching it in class. You see clips from it in The Iron Giant. They actually watch a little thing. It's the little turtle that jumps down and ducks and cover. Whatever, that little short film.
Yeah.
It's called Duck and Cover, and it was used to communicate to kids, like, both, like, this is how you survive, in quotation marks, a nuclear blast or whatever, but also just to prepare them, to get them thinking about, to get them being afraid of all the things that might happen to them if things don't go well, to help them understand what was going on in the world. So it's the one that all these filmmakers talk about having watched in school.
Yeah.
And that shows up in all their movies because of that. So I get one. Now I get an animation. I get one for kids. And it's not nonfiction exactly.
Right.
But it kind of, like, straddles the line there. So you can watch Duck and Cover online. Of course, it was made by the U.S. government, so it's open, or whatever they call that. You can go watch it on Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
Watch the little thing. It's kind of amazing to think that they were showing it to kids.
Yeah. I need to go watch it.
Yeah.
I've never. Yeah, I think I've seen just, like, little clips, like you mentioned in Bridge of Spies. There's some in Iron Giant. But yeah, I need to go watch the whole thing.
The other thing that when I was watching it, in preparation for this, watching it again, what I really thought about was how our kids aren't prepared for, like, nuclear fallout. What they are prepared for in school is school shootings. And there is no film that they all watch to prepare for school shootings, but you can imagine that kind of thing being produced. The same kind of thing to, like, both, like, prepares you for something that the adults are afraid is going to happen to them, and communicates to them the danger that they're in, that they might not otherwise think about. So anyway,
along those same lines, going back to Oppenheimer, we talked. I think I talked about in that episode. One of the things that, like, spurred Nolan, he was already, like, making the film at this point, but, like, one of the things that, like, really spurred him on to, like, okay, I'm doing the right thing was he was talking about it. They were talking about it at home, and his son was like, I don't think anyone cares about, like, nuclear warfare anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And Nolan was just kind of like, oh yeah, I've definitely got to make this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting how that all works. But
yeah.
All right. My next pick is okay. I already have 3. I only get 2 more. Okay. My next pick, I'm gonna go ahead and take this. It's a comedy counteractive to Strangelove. I had one of the reasons I didn't take Strangelove first was because I would have been perfectly okay. I was gonna take one of 2 comedies. You probably already know what it is, but yeah. So I was like, if I don't get Strangelove, if he takes it next, I'll eventually take this one. And I'm going to take Armando Iannucci's The Death of Stalin.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
What a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really fun movie. But like, I think the thing that this and Strangelove have in common is like, they are like uproariously hilarious until they're not.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the point of both of them is like you said, it's that this is another one that like really maybe not quite like as masterfully like shows the absurdity of it all as Dr. Strangelove. Obviously this is kind of from the opposite side, the opposite point of view, but definitely like show like on full display the absurdity of everything and really like really like when this movie ends, you're not laughing anymore, really.
Oh yeah, no.
And that's how it's supposed to be, but you really are laughing all the way up until like the last moment of the film, and then title cards come across the screen, and you're like, wow, I guess this isn't funny.
That made me feel sick, actually, when it was all said and done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unity stuff is all like that, isn't it? It's also a good pick because, we may be tempted to think that the Cold War just completely ended when Rocky beat Ivan Drago.
Right.
And made that impassioned speech. Like, we may think it was all over then.
Yeah.
But, you look at, like, the kinds of tensions we have between the United States and Russia right now. And, we're so much of what like the Trump administration did in their first term and now again, like this is all just 80s shit all over again.
Yeah.
Like they're still living in like a Cold War mindset. And the tensions are still the same. And, a movie like Death of Stalin, you could look at that movie and say, well, that's not about the Cold War. That's about now. And Iannucci might say, yeah, both.
Both, right.
Like it's not over. We're still doing this thing.
Yeah.
And these are the seeds of it,
Oh yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah. And there's even like, it's like Cold War, but then like speaking to like modern politics of this, like there's this sequence that I was like laughing out loud through the whole thing where the Michael Palin character is like giving this like monologue where like everyone keeps like, they're voting on some motion and everyone like keeps putting their hands up to like vote for it or not because he's like going back and forth with his argument. And he like finally ends on it, and then they all like, okay, so we are voting for this. And I couldn't help but think about like a Trump speech and how like you're never really sure what he's gonna land on until the end of it. And it's like, what is this guy even like? What are we even doing here? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, loved that. But yeah, your fourth pick is up.
Okay. All right. So this is fun because I'm gonna pick. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. So my fourth pick, I'm gonna hit Spies. So I've already got Nuclear Anxiety off my list of things. I've got Metaphor with Rocky and boxing. I've got For Kids with Duck and Cover. Also a little bit of nonfiction there. I got comedy with Strangelove. I don't have sci-fi yet. Strangelove's not really sci-fi. I may not get sci-fi before this is all over. I only got 2 more picks. But I'm going to get military right now, and I'm going to get Spies. That's important. I think that's more important than getting than getting sci-fi maybe.
Fair. Yeah,
So I'm
that's
going to
fair.
take the Hunt for Red. I'm taking the Hunt for Red October.
This is one that I haven't seen that I was hoping to catch up with but didn't get to.
Okay, Hunt for Red October. That's my fourth pick for sure. Not only is it a movie that I love, it also gets into that. It's a Cold War movie for sure. We got some defecting Russians here with their nuclear sub. A defecting Russian with a Scottish accent. So plays right into our Bridge of Spies thing we got going on there.
Yep.
Defecting this time and not the other way around. It's just a freaking great movie too. I mean, it's just Hunt for October. It's just about as fun as it comes. Quintessential dad movie. You know, I feel like I spent a lot of my childhood sitting on the couch, laying on the couch, and my dad watched Red October on TV in the evening because it was just on. You know? Fell in love with it, all that, but it just holds up. It's a great movie. You've never seen it, you got to watch it.
Yeah,
you will love it. I'm so happy you haven't seen it because that means there's this great movie that you get to watch
exactly
in the future. So yeah.
Yeah, it's on the list. It's on the list to be visited. Okay. I mean, I guess you also have like you're not going to take a Bond movie, but at least you get Sean Connery. So
that's right, too. I do. That's helpful. Yeah.
So yeah, you got that going for you.
Also, I got a great spy too.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan is a great spy.
Yeah.
And he's more like that real kind of spy. I mean, some of his stories are not that realistic, but he's more of a real kind of spy, kind of like Abel. He's a normal guy. He's an analyst. You know.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, I don't have a spy like a full-on spy movie, even though you could say The Third Man definitely like like we said, doing spy stuff. So okay, this is my
There's
my
spies in
last
Oppenheimer
pick.
too. Come on, y'all. There's spies in Oppenheimer.
Hello again. Do you know how you can really support the show for free in just a few minutes or less? That's right. Just leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple, or wherever you listen that might allow for ratings and reviews. These really help the visibility of the podcast. In fact, just hit that pause button right now and drop the review right now. And then you can get back to the show. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay. I trust that you went and left that rating and review now. Back to the show.
This is my last pick. There's one movie that I caught up with not terribly long ago that I loved. That is probably a hot take for a favorite movie from this director. I'm going to leave it for an honorable mention though, because I like you. I also want to get a sci-fi movie in. And I have two on my list that I think are really good. I'm pretty sure I've taken one in a different draft before.
You got the Iron Giant in there. You got a sci-fi movie.
That's true. That is sci-fi, technically.
Yeah. There's no. I mean, it's an alien robot from space. It's sci-fi.
I just didn't think of it as sci-fi. I was thinking of it in a whole different category. You're just not wanting me to take your sci-fi movie.
Mind games. I'm just trying to get you to do what you want to do.
There's one.
It also helps me get what I want.
I think you probably have two. I think you probably have two sci-fi movies that might be the same ones.
I've got a lot of movies left.
Okay.
So
and yeah.
I'm gonna be happy with whatever I get to pick next.
All right. I'm gonna go with one. I'm pretty sure I've taken it in a past draft, way in the past, but it's so good.
Did you win that draft though? Did you win that draft?
I think so. Probably.
Okay.
I win a lot of drafts. Just saying.
You do a lot of drafts.
I do. Okay. This movie, I could go the high road and take the movie that I haven't drafted before, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the one that I watched and loved. I need to watch it again because I loved it so much the first time. I'm going to take the 1956 Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Good choice. Good movie.
Such a great movie, full like overflowing with fear and anxiety of that thing that I was talking about that Hanks brought up, of someone from the opposite end of, where in this case I guess the galaxy, that is the anti of everything you are and is taking over slowly and quietly underneath the surface. And yeah, love Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And it's one of those, just like, man, why can't we make like solid, like amazing all the way through 80-minute movies anymore?
I know. Right. Forgot how.
Yeah. Why does every movie have to be 2.5 hours? I don't know.
For real. I agree. The only one that should be is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. That can be as long as we want it to be.
I'll agree to disagree on that one, but I do, I guess I'll go finish reading your take, and maybe you'll persuade me in your newsletter after we finish.
All you'll be persuaded of is what you already know, which is that I love it. So,
but yeah, I'm taking Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Incredible movie.
Good choice. Been remade twice.
Yep. I haven't seen the remakes. I've only seen the original.
I watched the 70s one for the first time a couple of weeks ago. When you watch that movie, watch it at night.
Okay.
Watch it in a room that can be very dark, because that is the darkest movie, like the cinematography. I'm not joking. That is the darkest movie I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And I watched it in the middle of the day, and that was a mistake.
Have you seen the movie from this year, Wolfman, though? Because I could barely see that movie in theaters.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, they make a lot of dark movies nowadays, and I think it's because they're lazy. And
it felt like it on that one.
Haskell Wexler was trying to be as dark as he could possibly be. He was like, what if we made a film noir, but like made it in color and tried to make the shadows as black as we possibly can?
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's a good movie.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard good things about the 70s one.
But the one in the 50s, the 70s one is not a Cold War movie, though. It's about other stuff.
Sure. This one definitely is.
Definitely is.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
All right. So I'm assuming you're going sci-fi with your last pick too.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
Go sci-fi, actually.
Fair.
It's there's something else that I feel like is you hit sci-fi good. So there's something else that I think is important to hit that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
And that is McCarthyism.
Yeah.
I think it's important to talk about McCarthyism, and I feel like I would be doing a disservice to my film scholarness and my film historyness to not talk about McCarthyism, because the effect that McCarthyism and the Red Scare had on Hollywood was it's almost immeasurable.
Yeah.
Talking about people like Dalton Trumbo, we talked about in the episode about like what they did to him, and there's so many others.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to pick On the Waterfront. Elia Kazan's film that is not about the Cold War at all. That is about dock workers, Marlon Brando, but you know what the movie is really about. Kazan famously named names to the House Un-American Committee, and was reviled in Hollywood because of that. And On the Waterfront is not his. For one thing, it's just an excellent movie. So if it wasn't a good movie, none of this would matter at all. But it's an amazingly good movie with one of the best priests you will ever see in a film. And he, but anyway, it's a great movie. And it's not really his, it is kind of his defense about why he named names. It's not his defense saying like, it was right to name names because they're a communist. It's his defense in saying, one side was saying name names because I owe it to society, and the other side was saying don't name names because I owe it to my fellow colleagues or whatever. What really ultimately had to matter then was personal conviction and me doing what I thought was right. And it's a movie about doing what you think is right, even though everybody else is telling you not to do it. both people you love and people you hate are telling you not to do something, or to do something or not do something, and you have to stay true to your sense of right and wrong, which I think ties in well with the Bridge of Spies.
Yeah.
And what Donovan was trying to. Everybody else was like, "Don't defend this guy," and he did, because it was the right thing to do. Everybody else was like, "Don't go over there and try to solve the thing," and he did because it was the right thing to do.
Right.
And that's kind of like the underlying. Again, I'm not sitting here defending Elia Kazan for naming names.
Sure.
That's a whole huge conversation about whether he should have done that or not. But it's a really fascinating film about if you are in a time when there are voices all around you telling you what to do, how do you maintain your convictions? Which is what like people in this country had to deal with, like under that kind of Red Scare McCarthyism thing. It wasn't even the Russians. It was just us being afraid of each other. And how do you make your way through that?
Yeah.
So, huge impact absolutely enormous impact on film history.
Yeah.
There were people who were blacklisted because they were supposedly communist. There were people who were blacklisted because they named names. There were people who, it was just like a whole thing, it was a huge deal. So, so I wanted a McCarthyism movie on the list. The other one that, I had another one that I thought about, maybe to be an honorable mention.
Yeah, sure. We can do honorable mentions.
But On the Waterfront, great movie. If you've never seen it, absolutely amazing
another
movie.
huge blind spot for me. So
yeah. Okay. Speaking of Third Man, though, Orson Welles was asked about Elia Kazan one time, and he said something basically what he said was that he did an unforgivable thing by naming names and like ruining people's lives by doing that, and also an amazing director because he is just an amazing director.
Yeah.
And none less than Martin Scorsese, adore him and adore his films.
Both can be true.
Yeah, all can be true. Anyway, On the Waterfront, last pick. I got every movie that was on my top 5 list except The Iron Giant. So,
man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I did good.
Yeah. I feel decent about mine.
It's a good list.
Yeah,
I like all those movies.
I love all these movies, but yeah, it's this was a tough one for me. I feel like I had a ton of blind spots that I wanted to fill in, but just didn't have time for. But I love all the movies I picked. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I did take 2 that were like new watches in The Third Man and Death of Stalin. Those are 2 that I caught up with for this. So
that's good.
Glad I watched those. Yeah. Do you want to name a few honorable mentions that you want to get put out there?
Yeah, sure. I would have chosen The Iron Giant. That was my number 3 pick. I almost took it number 2 because I thought you might pick it, but I wanted Rocky. I love Rocky 4. No, John Frankenheimer's The Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah, that was another that I was thinking about.
Amazing movie. Pretty good remake too, for that matter. But the original one is just one of those movies. The first time I saw that movie, I was like, oh gosh, my parents showed it to us, so I was probably like 11 or 12 years old, and my parents were always showing us great movies, and I couldn't believe that movie when I saw it the first time. Like I just was on the floor with how suspenseful and how good that movie was. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you took that one. Day the Earth Stood Still, I almost took that.
That was the other sci-fi that I had.
Yeah, that was the one. I almost took that one for my last pick, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Everything about that movie is amazing, and it really gets the paranoia thing really good. Instead of On the Waterfront, my backup McCarthy is a movie was High Noon.
Okay.
Which is kind of the opposite of On the Waterfront. It's a movie where everyone's telling a guy to do something and he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And kind of stands up for what he's right. And it's about McCarthyism though. And at the end of the movie, he's so disgusted with everybody who just kind of folded. They just throws his badge on the ground and leaves.
Yeah.
And done with everything. But it was explicitly made about House Un-American Committee.
Yeah.
Um, and I've loved High Noon forever. It's also one of those movies that's like told in real time. I'm a sucker for a real told in real time movie.
Mm.
Um, and then this is a silly comedy one, but Blast from the Past. You seen Blast from the Past? Oh, you gotta watch Blast from the Past.
Okay.
It's Brendan Fraser, and his family thinks that there's a nuclear attack, so they go into their fallout shelter, and they stay there for like 30 years,
Okay.
and then come back up into the 90s, and have to like deal with the world when they went down in the 50s or whatever.
That's great.
It's so funny and so much fun. I would have, if I could, if you had taken Doctor Strangelove, I was going to be in trouble because I didn't really have a backup for that. It couldn't have been Blast from the Past, but I gotta love a good comedy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
I gave you Doctor Strangelove then. That was,
Yeah, me too.
a present, from me to you.
It was also very hard for me not to pick a James Bond movie. I love James Bond movies.
Gotcha.
And I might have broken my own rule to pick From Russia with Love, which is probably the best one. And you get the Russia stuff kind of explicitly.
I'm funny about James Bond movies. It's one of those that I love the Craig ones.
Yeah.
But I've never really connected very strongly with the older ones. I've
older
watched through like one or two of each iteration, and I've never really connected with many of them. So I don't know what it is about it. I like the idea and the I don't know. It's probably just me.
Yeah,
Definitely just
I grew
me.
up with them. My dad loved them,
Yeah.
so I grew up watching them. And then there's a handful of movies that like, I guess technically are Cold War movies, but like I don't know, like North by Northwest.
Right. It's kind of in the background.
It's spies,
Right.
but there's no explicit Russia to any of it.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of assume, but
It's definitely
then- 'cause
coated
then-
with those ideas.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like Hitchcock made some actual Cold War movies.
Yeah.
Like movies like Torn Curtain,
Mm-hmm.
that are actual Cold War movies.
Yeah.
And they're fine. They're not his best movies.
Yeah.
They're fine. I mean, fine for Hitchcock is better than most movies,
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah. I never actually saw the movie called Cold War. That was like
It's a good movie.
Oscar.
That's a real good
Oscars.
movie. Yeah.
Didn't it get Oscar nominations?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the only reason
Yeah.
I really know about it. But
Yeah, it's terrific.
yeah,
It's really
never
good.
saw that
Yeah.
one. But it is called Cold War, so I thought I would mention it.
Yeah,
Yes. So my honorable mentions that I have seen but wasn't able to draft. The one that like I'm kind of sad not to have on my list. I caught up with this. When did I watch this? It must have been last year. I was watching through a bunch of Cindy Lumet movies that I haven't seen before, and I've seen, I guess, let me see how many of his films I've seen by now. I've seen 10 of his films, so not a huge. He's directed a lot of films, but I've seen a lot of the big ones now. And Failsafe is my favorite.
Failsafe is a great movie.
It's so thrillingly constructed.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Henry Fonda as the president is really fantastic. And yeah, I just enjoy the kind of like moral question and the moral, like, it's like forcing you to think about, what you would do. And, yeah, but all along the way, like just very thrillingly constructed with some like very Cindy Lumet montagey, like, visual craziness thrown in every once in a while. That I love. So that was one that I was kind of sad not to have on my list. And then
Wait, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
You can't love Sidney Lumet and Failsafe and still say bad things about Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, because there is so much.
I was thinking about it while I was watching it, and
there's so much failsafe.
It was. Yeah. The only problem for me is in failsafe, we have a real countdown that is based on something that is real, that we know, that we can time. Whereas in Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, I don't know where they got this countdown from. Like, what is it counting down to? Did the entity tell them when he was gonna get into their system, or what?
Everything. The countdown is Tom Cruise is the countdown.
I mean, that's the only justification I can make for it.
Everything Ethan Hunt does speeds up the eventual things that will happen.
Sure.
He is time in that movie. He is time itself.
Hey,
which is great because he's a filmmaker and that's all they're doing is messing with time.
Yeah.
He is time.
Hey, listen. I liked The Final Reckoning. I just didn't. Overall, I liked it. But man, the inside the sub and the plane and the biplane sequence is really holding up that one for me.
Incredible! Those are good sequences.
Yeah, they are.
Those are good. Another honorable mention for me would have been the first Mission Impossible movie, which technically is not a Cold War movie.
Okay.
Because it came out in 1996.
Right. Yeah.
But you're still dealing with like Kiev and spies and spy lists. It's like it's based in a series that was a Cold War series, television series.
Yeah.
So I thought about that one. It just didn't quite, because the time when it was made didn't quite work for me. But anyway,
that's fair.
Yeah.
The other two that I want to shout out that are technically Cold War movies, just not in the way you would typically think about the Cold War. But a huge part of the Cold War was these movements around the world of like anti-colonialism, liberation movements. Huge part of the Cold War. The Battle of Algiers.
Amazing movie. Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it before, so this was
an incredible movie.
I caught up with this. Didn't really fit in my 5 movies, but if we had taken one more, I probably would have taken it. Just to
it was outside of the U.S. Russia thing for me.
Yeah.
But amazing movie. One of my absolute favorite movies ever.
Yeah, it's incredible. I had to break it up just the way I had to watch it, and I think I would like it more if I sat through the whole thing all at once. I think I would like it even more, and I already thought it was incredibly made. So the other one is nonfiction. I think the only nonfiction I had on my list, and it was a movie I watched last year that I loved. Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. Did you see this one?
I haven't seen that.
Oh,
I haven't seen that.
It's incredible. It's like a masterclass in what you can do with film editing, to me, for one thing, because it's not really like a typical documentary. It's basically, the way I heard it described that I think is accurate is it's like a essay style documentary. So it's made completely with archive footage and archive audio and title cards, kind of cluing you in on what's going on in these images and these archive footage. And it's basically like following this program that the U.S. government employed, where they were sending these jazz musicians around the world, and they didn't know it, but they were basically sending them as these covers for like, it was basically sending them to all these like places that were trying to decolonize, and they were sending them in as a cover for CIA stuff, and the jazz musicians didn't even know it. They were being used by the U.S. government for this, and so just a part of history that I had no idea anything about, never heard of, that this happened, and so just like like incredibly interesting and informational for me, but just like incredibly well made too. And you know, the jazz music drives it. drives the movie, and I love that. So yeah, you should check it out. It's
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah.
it's where can you watch it? It's if your library has Canopy, it's on there.
Yeah, I have Canopy. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can watch it there. But our libraries did not have that, so it makes me sad. I've emailed them, but that didn't do anything.
It's expensive. It's expensive
I'm sure.
for libraries. Yeah.
But yeah, those were my two like decolonization, Cold War.
Yeah.
Two really great ones. So
Yeah, most of those kind were like off limit for me because of I wanted the
Right.
U.S. Soviet thing.
Yeah.
And Americans didn't make very many movies about decolonization.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. We kind of just like embraced that and ran with it. And we said no Vietnam movies
We did,
for
yeah.
this list. So that took off things like Apocalypse Now and
Right.
whatnot. So
Yeah, we I didn't mention that at the top, but yeah, we did
yeah.
Through our correspondence before recording take off Vietnam, because that's kind of its own category. But I mean, I guess you could have taken like Korean War movies or
I mean, Manchurian Candidate technically
that's true. Yeah.
Korean thing.
Yep.
But I didn't take that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no Vietnam. I also, I would want to say, because I chose, I kind of wanted to pick a Russian film. And I thought about Tarkovsky. If any of his films really felt Cold War-ish. And the only one that kind of does is Stalker.
Sure.
And it doesn't. I guess Sacrifice maybe a little bit too.
Sacrifice is the
but
one I
again-
haven't seen.
But again, like they don't really feel Cold War to me.
Yeah.
For some reason. And then I also, because of my U.S. Soviet thing, couldn't pick this, but Kieslowski's Decalogue. I love Polish films and films made from the other side of the Iron Curtain.
Yeah.
From that era, and man, that Kieslowski made some good movies. And the Decalogue, to show you if you want to see, I mean, Kieslowski look, but a pretty up close look at what life was like on the other side of the Iron Curtain. Those are can't get better than that.
Yeah.
So
That's one that I've wanted to catch up with, but haven't gotten to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of the most worthwhile things we'll ever watch. Yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
Cool.
We talked about
All right.
a lot. There's a lot of them I haven't seen, and a lot that we didn't talk about. So, if there's any, we didn't even
good
talk
movies.
about like space race stuff. That's technically Cold War.
Yeah, technically.
But
Right Stuff would have been a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a ton of them out there. There's I guess like you picked a sports movie, sort of. Yeah. Boxing.
I did. Yeah.
So there's
I did.
others.
I thought about that. There's a lot of good sports Cold War movies.
Yeah.
None better than Rocky IV, but there's a lot of
Sure.
things.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, if we didn't pick yours or mention the one that you wanted us to, then you can always.
It's because they're not as good as the ones we picked. That's why.
That's why. But if you want to air your grievances, you can. You can email the show or leave a voicemail. That's all in the episode description. It'll get totally dismissed as incorrect, but that's okay. You can still send it in.
No, you're right about your opinion.
Right.
Your opinion is your opinion. You're correct about that.
Oh man. Well, it is late for me and Elijah, so we're gonna be done with our Cold War movie draft. Before we officially end, I should read back both lists in entirety. Elijah ended up with Dr. Strangelove. I'm not reading the whole title. Rocky IV.
Or how I learned to stop worrying and let the bomb.
Yes. Rocky IV, Duck and Cover, The Hunt for Red October, and On the Waterfront. I ended up with The Third Man, Oppenheimer, The Iron Giant, The Death of Stalin, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Two great lists. Yours with some that I need to catch up with. So that'll be.
See, I feel like if I had been able to pick the Iron Giant, my list would have been bulletproof.
You're probably right. but you didn't.
But I'm very happy with Duck and Cover because it's the most important Cold War film of all.
Of all. Making little girls cry in Bridge of Spies.
That's right.
So, but yeah, great picks all around. Next week we'll be jumping into the BFG, a movie that has nothing to do with the Cold War. So look forward to.
Or does it?
Well, I don't know. We'll find out in my research, I guess. The thing that none of us knew all along about the BFG and Roald Dahl. But yeah, that's all we have for the Cold War movies. Yeah, see you next week on the BFG. I've been Eli Price for Elijah Davidson. You've been listening to The Establishing Shot. We'll see you next time.
We were happy here. For a little while.
But look, I figure it this way. Better to be king for a night than schmuck for a lifetime.